Hey, buddy. Holy shit, it's been a long time since I've seen you, dude. You took off a lot of time. How have you been? What the fuck have you been up to, man?
Well, honestly, I don't know if I even want to get into it. I'm so fucking tired, man. I've been so busy killing old women for ice pick. Holy shit, she's got a bloodlust. It just can't be satisfied, bro.
Wow, dude. That's wild, man. How many old women have you killed? Wait. Nope. Never mind. Do not fucking tell me. She's the only person that's been using your services, I'm gonna guess? You haven't worked here in almost a month now. Is she the only one calling you?
Well, to be completely honest, there is this British guy who contacted me a few days ago.
God damn it, man. It's never good news when there's a fucking Brit involved. Have you not learned that from the show, dude?
Right, well, he offered me a huge amount of money. Well, maybe not money. It's more like beans. But it's to kill Mikey again.
Baldy, god damn it, bro. What the fuck was this guy's name? Who the fuck is offering you beans to kill Mikey?
Well, he really didn't give me a name. But he did keep saying stuff like, I'm the beans in the walls, da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't know, man. It's a lot of fucking beans, though. Like a lot of beans.
What are you gonna do with a lot of beans? You gonna eat them all? Like, he didn't have any fucking money? And this is all beside the point, bro. You can't kill Mikey again. I need him to help me with the store and the show. Dude, things have been taken off while you haven't been around. You haven't been out here to help. Like, we're really getting busy around here. You can't fucking kill Mikey again. If you kill Mikey again, we're done. I'm going to cut you out of the store. I'll cut you out of my life. Everything.
Well, damn. Okay. Also, we use beans in hell as air fresheners, if you were wondering.
I wasn't fucking wondering. I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I do think this guy is going to be pissed, though. He signed the contract already. Like, if I break it, things could go really bad.
Oh, well, man. What's new with that anyway? I'll fucking blast any custer that shows up here looking for beef at this store, man. You know it.
Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you, man.
Mikey. God damn it. You made a deal with Dandy, man. You have to be the dumbest demon I have ever met in my entire fucking life.
Mikey, I came for you. You were not content with the stories, so I was obliged to come. I am the Brits in the walls. I am the beans in the walls. Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed your blood. Be my victim. Eat my beans.
I am so mad at you right now. This dude is a spirit. I'm gonna have to call, I don't know, a fucking priest or like the Ghostbusters or something, man.
I'm sorry, man. I just needed a break from ice pick. And he was offering a lot of beans, bro. Well, speaking of ice pick, what would you say if I asked you to be my best man?
What the actual... No, I cannot take this today. I'm going to the back. I'm doing an interview with Mikey and a guy named David. You deal with this. This is your haunting. You started it. Son of a bitch. Damn it, you deal with it.
Well, okay, I got you. Don't even worry about it, bro. I missed you, man. I'm so glad to be back. Don't be mad. I'll take care of this. Not a problem.
Be my victim. Eat my beans. Be my victim. Eat my beans.
What's up? Who's next? Huh? How about it? Who wants up?
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the very best place that you could be in the entire world, the entire universe, the entire void, the VHS Doom podcast and rental store. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you all so much for joining us again for another week of fun. This week we have a huge treat for you. We have a very special guest in the store today for our very first ever VHS Doom community room interview. So as you all know, we've been very interested in setting up interviews with artists, directors, actors, creators, bands, really anyone who has an artistic project that they want to promote. We want to turn our store into a place that anyone can come and show off what they're making. We want to grow our community, and that means supporting artists by letting them use our platform to showcase what they are doing. So yeah, that's super awesome. And big thanks to the ever awesome bearded villain, Mike, as he is also known, but the bearded villain, as we call him. He was able to set up an interview with our first community room guest. So, so David Sandoval, comic book writer, producer. We're super excited to have you here in the studio. So if you can, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're working on. I know you have a new comic out on Kickstarter. So tell us where we can find you and what you're doing.
Right now, you can find anything I'm working on www.dracostarstudios.com. And on Kickstarter, if you'd like to support anything we're doing, you can look up or type in the name of the book, which is Serum, Serum. And you can also type in my name, David Sandoval, and, anything I've done should come out there and give everybody a little idea of what, kind of stories and stuff I'm working on.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so I do apologize. I know we were really getting in the groove with who you are and how you came to do what you're doing. So
Yes.
You are from Texas. We were talking a little bit about
Yes,
Texas,
Laredo.
Laredo, right? That's where you guys are at. Oh, Mikey, cracked a can. You motherfucker, you got me this week, bro. Holy shit. Okay, yep. So you were mentioning that you went to film school in Arizona and then you moved back to Texas. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into what you're doing now and that transition?
Yeah, well, in film school, I worked on a couple of films. I worked on Across the Stars, or I don't know. I think they changed the name 2 or 3 times, but it had Barbara Hershey,
Okay.
Ron Perlman, Daniel
Okay.
Gillies. Those are the ones I remember, and I was the line producer, so I got to interact with a lot of the actors. The other movie, it was called Horror, but with a 1R. I have no idea what happened to that film. And recently, I actually went on IMDb, looked up my name, and it's got a lot of the stuff I worked there and tons more. I guess somebody else named David Sandoval decided to take my my resume and add to it. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever. But yeah, it's got all the
Oh, that's cool though.
yeah, and it's got all the films that I did when I was in film school and tons more. So I was like, okay.
Hey man, that's cool.
So I moved back to Texas. Started doing little side jobs for anybody wanting anything written, or maybe even just as a script supervisor or another line producer, anything. And I did get a job with a gentleman in McAllen, Texas, actually, and he hired me to write a screenplay, and it was called The Last Thanksgiving, and it was a drama, and it was a challenging project because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to write what he wanted, because he wanted a drama with something that was going to touch your heart and maybe even make you cry.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, wrote it, loved it. He cried when he read it, and yeah. So
That's awesome. So you wrote your first script, and that kind of led you into the world of comic book creation, right? As you
yes,
made your way through that process. Okay,
yeah,
very cool. Now, I know you were mentioning before that the project that you have on Kickstarter right now, which is called Serum, is actually a prequel to a comic book that you created previously. Um,
yes.
can you tell us a little bit about that series and how that came to fruition? That first series there.
The Cursed and the Damned was an idea I came up with. Literally, the cursed being werewolves, the damned being zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought to myself, hey, because I like to come up with, well, at least try to come up with something original, an original story, and I do as much research as I can to make sure it's not out there. And I said to myself, well, I mean, there's Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, which is kind of like a zombie werewolf style. And other
Yeah.
than that, I didn't find anything else. So, I just came up with an idea. Okay, why would they want to fight, or what would happen? So I wrote the story, and it's the way I kind of did the story for that one is the werewolves. There are a bunch of different clans, and I added shapeshifters in there,
Okay. Cool.
and yeah, they're kind of like looked at with the werewolf community, kind of like you're not one of us.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I added a little bit of prejudice in there, but they were still considered, part of a clan. So um, something happens, and some of them are fighting. Some of the werewolves that were turned instead of born obviously didn't want that kind of life. So some of them, being doctors and geneticists and stuff like that, decided they wanted to create a cure and not
Okay.
be werewolves anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have the villain just so happens to be in the background, has somebody, giving her all the info. She decides to intervene and mixes up whatever cure they had, quote unquote,
Okay.
and it starts, instead of curing them from being werewolves, it starts killing them. But then they,
Interesting.
but then they
Okay.
reanimate.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
that's creative. I like that a lot.
yeah, and then from there on, it's like, like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna keep our existence a secret? Everything is going crazy. Zombies here, zombies there. So I mean, that's pretty much. And after that story came out, a lot of people really liked it when I launched it, and I decided to do a prequel to set everything in motion.
I think so the question that I was asking you when we realized, oh no, we're not actually recording, was about your childhood influences. So, um, man, as it like listening
Oh
to
yes.
your synopsis of your comic book, right? It takes me through all of these thoughts about like, okay, maybe this influenced him, maybe this influenced him. That sounds like, it could have come from this. So who would you say, taking it back to like our movie store roots for the show, who would you say are like your biggest film influences, and how did that influence your art or your writing style for today?
Well, like I was saying a little bit ago, I think George Lucas, because I was a big Star Wars fan. George Romero, because Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Those were all some of my favorite movies to watch. Sam Raimi, because of Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. Um, Jeez, man, the some of the old movies, but directors I don't remember specifically all of them. But man, those are some of the ones that because those three directors right there have some of the movies that I watched tons of times as a kid, so it could have been. I could have gotten a lot of the influence from there.
So, one of my questions here. All right, so it's Friday night, and you just walked into your local rental shop. You just joined the VHS Doom rental store. And what movies? What two movies are you leaving with? And what snacks are you grabbing on your way out?
So, is this a specific year or is this like right now?
Okay, that's a good question. I like that. Let's say it's 1998. Hmm.
Hmm. 1998. Okay,
95 to
19.
98. Yeah,
Okay.
like mid 90s.
Well, let's use 98 because I remember specifically. I'm a big Godzilla
Okay.
fan.
Okay.
So 1998, it was the Godzilla 98 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would have picked that up to watch. And let's see what else. Because modern time, I would have said Godzilla -1.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. Okay.
and
This one
oh
is
man,
good.
it's really really good. And um, what else? I think I probably would have picked up Army of Darkness because I think that came out in
Mm.
'96 or '97.
Okay.
Goodies. I'm not a big popcorn guy, but I love Sour Patch Kids.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what's up. Got to get those candies.
yeah.
Grab your popcorn, grab your candies. That's awesome, man. Good stuff. Okay, cool. All right. So I know this is kind of going to be like a random question, but you've created a lot of characters, right? So your art has probably taken you through. You might have created more characters than you can remember.
Yeah.
We tend to do a lot of character creation here at the store, and we actually, if you ever get a chance to listen into the show, we have like a deadite coworker who runs the store while we're not here. We have
Okay.
a half demon, half human guy who works part time, but he's also a hitman on the side, right? It's a bunch of goofiness, right? Who in your character work would you identify with the most? Like, who do you see yourself? Who did you pour yourself into the most, if that makes sense?
Okay. There's a book I released a year ago called Chronofire, and a character that came out in that story that I came up with years ago. He's actually pretty much through the whole story. He's an evolving character. He's a little bit of a douche, you know. Actually more of a dick. He's
Okay.
yeah. He's extremely self-centered. Only thinks of himself. I'm not saying
Okay.
that's me. I'm not
Right.
saying
Okay.
that's me,
Right.
but
I know.
that's the character himself. But the way because I have to put myself in every single character I create, whether it's a man, woman, child. I put myself into that character. So, what would he do? How would he react? And when
Mhm.
I'm writing these things, since I kind of already know the character's background and their attitude, he's one of the characters I can probably relate to the most because I know, like I had a couple of mad years, where I was mad at
Yeah.
the world. I hated
Sure.
everything. I hated everybody,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. For sure.
and and that's
Yeah,
yeah,
completely.
and that's kind of how he is. He
Okay.
feels like he deserves more than he's gotten, and I think more than likely I would probably say him because I think he's what I don't want to call him an anti-hero.
Okay.
I don't because he's with the heroes, but with them for his convenience.
Interesting.
You know,
Okay.
not
Okay.
when he fights only because he wants to save himself, not to help whoever is in need. If they're attacking him, he's gonna kill him because he's bloodthirsty. He loves to fight,
Okay.
and
Okay.
you know. So I think I would probably relate to him. His name is Lykios,
Okay.
and um, yeah, I think I would probably say him overall.
Okay. I like that. So I think that's an honest answer. I think that a lot of people would probably characterize themselves as the pure hero, right? Like, oh no, I'd be a hero. I'd be the savior. But think that's I don't think that's an honest answer a lot of times. I think it is honest to say, well, yeah, no, I'll help people, but it kind of needs to be helping me too, right? Like I get it.
Yeah,
I'm strong, but I'm taking care of myself first, right?
yeah,
That's I like your answers, dude. I
yeah,
do. I really do. Okay, so as a kid, my comic book series that I would gravitate to, or it was always going to be like Spider-Man. I was a huge Spider-Man fan. If I start cutting out, Mikey, let me know. I just want to know before I talk.
Okay, I'll start asking.
Yeah,
questions
if
after that.
I don't want to just keep talking if you guys can't hear me, so let me know. But I was a huge Spider-Man fan. I have just a ton of Spider-Man comics. I really I got into Judge Dredd. That was later, like more advanced, like comic, kind of like a little darker. That's kind of my journey. And I'm like topical. I don't have a huge collection, but I have the ones that I really care about and the ones I
yeah.
like, right? What as a kid were your comic book influences, and how did that lead you towards where you are now? Like, what's your comic book journey?
Comic book journey. I loved as a kid. I loved, yeah, just like you. Spider Man was my favorite. Hulk was one
Mm,
of my favorites. Ghost Rider and Captain America, but
okay.
Spider Man was always it. When I remember the first comic book my mom got me, it was Return of the Sinister Six by Eric Larson. I think it was like issue 282 or something like that. And I read it and I was just like, wow, and it was a newsstand edition. It wasn't like a comic book edition. So I
Mm-hmm.
still have that comic book. And
Nice.
I remember when I read it, I was so into it, I couldn't wait to see what happened after that. And
Yeah.
that's what led me to Spawn, or when Todd McFarlane took
Mm,
over Spider Man.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Todd
when he took
McFarlane.
over
Yeah,
Spider Man, that's when everybody was like, whoa. And so Todd McFarlane's Spider Man, and then Jim Lee's X Men series, from
okay.
jumping from the Uncanny X Men and jumping onto his own X
classic.
Men. Bringing in Omega Red and all those characters was just like wow for me. And as a kid, I think I was maybe 11, 12 years old, maybe older. I honestly I can't remember, but I do remember specifically like those comic books, reading those and
Okay.
just being like wow, and after Todd McFarlane, or actually the Seven as they call him, decided to do Image, and everything they were producing was just like wow, they were like rock stars and stuff. And it's funny because now you think, well, now if I sit down and I read some of those comics, the stories suck. The art is awesome, but the story, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm just being honest, and they've even admitted
Yeah.
it themselves. They weren't good storytellers, but because they were so popular, they made millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's how I feel about
Mm,
Frank Miller too. Like, a lot of his like older stuff is like
yeah.
unreadable now. I
When you
feel
go
like.
yeah,
back as an adult.
yeah,
Yeah. I feel like it's kids who are into comic books, like not everybody veers into actual like novels, but I feel like I went comic book graphic novel, and I really got into um, right now. Like I got into fantasy, but right now, like I'm probably the one of the biggest Tolkien nerds that I know. I follow all of the subreddits. I am like into The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion. Like I'm into all of that stuff, and I
yeah.
really attribute a lot of that to my time in comics and leading me into that fantasy world. Right? What would you say? Like, what's one of your favorite novels, favorite books? It could be a graphic novel, it doesn't matter. But if you were stuck on an island and you could only read one book for the rest of forever, what would that book be?
Um, the book that I love to read over and over again, that every time I read it, I realize something new, is American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, I love gaming. Yeah.
Great
Mm-hmm.
book. Yeah.
There's just something about that story that I like. I like how he took old gods and mixed them in with new gods, and added a demigod in there right in the middle. And I mean, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it, and even to this day, like anything new I read, because I read I read a lot of Anne Rice stuff too, and
Okay, cool.
Robert E. Howard was another person. He's the creator of Conan.
Hmm.
Um, he a lot of his stuff. I've read most of his stuff as well, Tarzan and all those. John Carter of Mars. But yeah, no matter what, that story, American Gods, for some reason, it's just I don't know. I can relate to it,
Yeah.
and I like it, and I guess because I like to write a lot of stuff that has to. Yeah, I guess my well, I've been told that mostly everything I write is very morbid,
Okay.
and for some reason or another, there's always something spiritual, and it could be a good spiritual or a bad spiritual thing in the
Okay.
story. And I think maybe that's why I kind of gravitate towards it, because there's a lot of ideas in there that I'm just like, wow, that was a cool idea how he did that, and how he even came up with Easter, the god of Easter, and then even Jesus
Mm.
is in there, and all these things, and it's really really interesting for me. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would probably be that specific book.
That's cool. I love that, man. That's a great answer. Yeah, I like to know what people gravitate towards. I asked that I actually asked that question to another podcast, and they answered it on air, which is kind of cool. But one of the people that was on the show gravitated towards like fiction. They're like, oh man, if I'm on an island, I need to have something fake that I can like get out of my entrapment or whatever,
Yeah,
right? And then someone else was like, oh, more towards like philosophy or whatever. So I found
yeah,
that interesting, but that would make sense. And I love gaming, honestly. Good Omens, Terry
yeah,
Pratchett, Neil Gaiman combo there. That's a cool one. So, um, yeah,
yeah.
Sandman.
Sandman was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff, man. Thank you. I appreciate that answer. So cool. This is going to be kind of off the wall, I guess, but if you had to make your own Mount Rushmore, I like to know it's a lot about influences, right? So like, I know we asked you earlier about, who would be your filmic influences because, they were a video store. Just in general, right? You have your Mount Rushmore, and it could be your family, it could be artists, it could be directors, it could be anything. Who are the four people in your life or that you have been inspired by? Who would you put up on that pedestal? Your Mount Rushmore.
Hmm. Since I mean, I've my influences are all over the place, and a lot of the times, you know, and I think this question specifically,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is one of those questions where it's like, well, I don't know.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but
Yeah.
only because I like these characters. I would like my Mount Rushmore to have
Mm-hmm.
Conan, RoboCop, Predator, and Darth Vader on it.
Hey, yeah, dude, that's a sick ass. If that was
Hell
on a
yeah.
fucking mountain, I would go visit
I was
it.
gonna ask.
That's awesome.
There's a little delay on my end. I was gonna ask, do you like to have
Yes,
sort of
yeah,
Conan comic books?
I have quite.
Oh
Yeah,
man, those are some
yeah.
of my favorites.
There's like I recently read this new Conan story. I completely forgot, and I'm not. I hope I don't get crucified for this, but I can't remember the writer's name, but I think it's called Blood of the Serpent. And I read it, and I read the whole thing, and I was like half into it and half not into it. It didn't grab me the way a Conan book normally grabs me. So, and
Yeah,
I'm more than likely going to pick up the next book only because I'm already invested in it. So just to see where it goes, and who knows, maybe the second book will be better. But yeah, I remember I would just be like, man, get to the point, dude. This is boring. Get to the point. Get to the point. You know? And and I hate that I was like that, because and it's funny because when you get to a certain point in writing specifically, and you read other people's writing and you look at other people's, you can't help but think, I could have done this, and I probably would have done this, and I probably would have done that. And I didn't do that with that book specifically, but most of the time I wanted to, and I just didn't because I wanted to see where it was going. Yeah, man. I mean, it was hard. It was hard to get through the whole thing,
Okay.
But yeah, no, Savage Sword of Conan is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those graphic. I love the graphic novels. I used to have the issues from my dad, because my dad used to collect comic books when I was a kid. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. I mean, some of my favorite movies.
yeah,
And Arnold is almost in.
Red Sonja was
Yeah,
great.
Arnold was almost in everything as a kid that you wanted. Terminator, Conan, and
Yeah.
you'd be like, yeah,
Commando, yeah.
Predator.
yeah, Predator. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
man, that guy, and I'm not gonna say he's one of my influences because he's an actor, you know what I mean, and he played all the parts. Whether he was a good actor back then or not, I mean, I loved him. As a
Yeah.
kid, I loved him. And I still
For
watch
sure.
him right now. And I'll actually sit my son down, and he'll watch these. He's a big Predator and Aliens fan now
Nice.
because of that.
My son just started liking like Alien, the look of Alien, like the Xenomorph. He hasn't watched the movies yet. He's 3, but he runs around playing with my NECA figure of one of the Xenomorphs all the time.
Yeah, yeah. No,
That is the way.
yeah. He inherited all of mine, so he's got. Do you guys remember what was the name of the company? Toy Biz, maybe, when they came out with
Yeah,
a
Toy
specific.
Biz, yeah.
Yeah, when they came out with those aliens, and it was like the Rhino alien,
Mhm.
and I still
Yeah, I
have
had
some
those
of
when I was a
those.
kid. Those
Yeah,
were awesome.
and I gave those
Oh,
to
you
him.
do? That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I'm a big Alien, Predator, Conan, RoboCop fan. I mean, I have all these things right now.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one who's inheriting a lot of it, and most of it is in a box.
Very cool. That's you gotta pass on this knowledge to the next generation. Actually, you know what? I was just so Tom Savini just started his most recent class in his special effects program at what's the college, Mikey? What college is that?
I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up.
He anyway, it's named. It's like the Tom Savini Special Effects Program. It's up in the Northeast, but he just announced like that the new class is coming in, and I was like, I had to comment, and I was like, dude, thank you so much.
I got it.
For where is it at?
It's Tom Savini Makeup Effects Program at Douglas Education Center in Munson, Pennsylvania.
Nice, Pennsylvania. Okay. Yeah, so I was like, man, thanks so much for imparting your knowledge onto like the next generation, cuz so all these like at work, I talk to a lot of Zoomers. I got a lot of Gen Zers around me all the time. And I talk about these like old like 80s like practical effects, 70s, 80s, whatever, films.
And they don't for that?
Bro, and they do. They're like, "Oh, I've never heard of that." And I'm like, "Oh man, well, go watch it." And then when they do, they get excited about it, right? So if we can get back to a point where, kids are being inspired to do stuff that's like cool and, like practical, that would be awesome. So good stuff.
I went to a horror convention maybe in 2000. I mean, I don't remember specifically but Tom Savini and George Romero were there. I got to meet them both. I got to meet Doug Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
And
awesome.
Yeah,
there was somebody there with Romero promoting the Night of the Living Dead comic book. So I got to meet Romero. He signed one of my books, and
nice.
He signed the comic also. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that would
right before he passed, he was coming up to Connecticut, and Dylan kept telling me to go.
I did.
Like, no, I'll see him in a few years. And it was like the year after he passed away. I was like, oh god damn.
I was like, Mikey, I can't believe you missed your chance on that one, bro.
He told me I killed Romero too.
Did I say that? I might have said that. I was like, hey, you killed Romero because you didn't go meet him. No.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Stan Lee. I always had the opportunity to go and meet him, never did, and passed away. So it's like,
right. Ugh, God, if
we went
just
to
a
horror convention. What was it done? 2016 or 15?
Yeah, 15, 16. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, we met Kane Hodder and Tony Todd. They were so
that was
nice.
fun. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, dude, that Matthew Lillard line was like 80 miles long.
Oh my
so
god,
we didn't do that one.
It was just out the
door. Was that what Danny Trejo was there too? We almost did that one.
Yeah, he was. The dude who played Godzilla in the newer Japanese ones was there.
Yeah.
What else is there?
That's
A
That
cool.
lot
wasn't
of
the one
people,
with
man.
Tara Reid, though. That was the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the other one we went to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I got to meet Danny Trejo, and he was like hitting on my sister.
Machete? No, not Uncle
Machete,
Machete.
yeah.
No.
He was hitting on my sister, and my sister was kind of looking at him like, "Oh, what are you doing, dude?"
Oh, how old are you? You're like 70,
Oh,
bro. Oh, shit.
Even
Uh,
then.
we love you. We love you, Danny Trejo. We love you. All right, cool. So I got two more questions for you. One, before we wrap up, but one, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Um, I was gonna say invisibility because I would do so many bad things being invisible.
Oh, no. At least you're honest.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'd be going into banks and walking out with $100,000.
Right. I'm rich again.
Yeah, um, but
Yes.
I'm just being honest, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think honestly, I would probably like Wolverine's healing factor.
Okay. Okay.
Only be
Would you take out the adamantium though?
Yeah, it would just be just like Deadpool, like he just
Okay.
heals. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
No, that makes
That'd
sense.
be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And then you could live for like hundreds of years probably,
Yeah,
your adamantium.
and during that mad phase that I was telling you about, probably murder a lot of people.
Well, again, he's very honest. We're murdering, we're robbing banks, but that's what happens here at VHS Doom. So
Yeah, I'm kidding about the murder part, but
he said in the face, not now, not today.
He said that
if I had that, and then I'd probably get recruited like he did, and I'd become some kind
Yeah.
of a United
Super
States
soldier.
spy. Yeah, something. So
It was never a phase, Mom. It's a lifestyle. All right, perfect. So, lastly, well, and then we'll talk about where people can find you. But so here at VHS Doom, we always, every single week, we send our members home with 5 films. We send them home typically with 4 films for the parents, and then we send 1 family friendly or kids film as well. So I know I let you know this beforehand so you could have a curated list, but this week we're sending you all home with David's curated rental list. So what are you sending our members home with this week, David?
okay, family wise, I'm sending them home with Rango.
I fucking love that movie, man.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness,
Okay.
Predator
yeah.
2.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I always felt like that was better than the first one, honestly.
I do love
Yeah.
too. I really do.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't see it that way. They kind of think part 2 is kind of like, I love the fact that it showed all those predators at the end and everything.
Song
Yeah.
Over too.
Yep.
Yep.
Requiem for a Dream.
A true horror film.
Oh, man, that messes me up, yeah.
Yeah.
And Godzilla 1954.
Nice.
Okay.
Very cool, man.
Did you show your daughter that, Dylan, recently?
No, you know what? My daughter pulled that off of the shelf, though, and she said, "What kind of dinosaur?" So my daughter's really into dinosaurs. She's like, "What kind of dinosaur
So
is
my
this?"
son.
And I said, "Oh, that's a Godzilla." And she's like, "Oh." And I was like, "Okay, we're gonna watch this soon. Don't worry." She's only 2, right? So she's like 2 and like 3 months. So it's a little early to jump into too much. But I think Godzilla's pretty safe, especially like the early ones. So,
Yeah, Sammy loves those movies.
They get a little
my son
cold.
Sammy loves those movies.
Yes.
Yeah, I think those will be fun. She's really into that. So good stuff, man. That's an awesome list. Rango, I feel like Rango's got like an 88 or 90% Rotten Tomatoes rating online. It's Johnny Depp. That is, I feel like I don't run into a lot of people that know about it. I don't know why though. Like I feel like I really like that film. Mikey, have you seen Rango?
That's the lizard one. Didn't Martin Scorsese direct it?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
comedian.
I like that one. Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. So I'm super happy about that. I'm actually probably going to watch that this week, Dave. That's awesome. That's what's up. I'm taking his recommendations. Cool. All right. So I did take a few minutes to write out just where you guys can find David. And I know he already mentioned his website. So it's dracostarstudios.com is going to be his website. And they can go purchase your comics there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so head over to dracostarstudios.com and you guys can purchase David's work there. Also, he's live on Kickstarter. If you go to kickstarter.com and you search Serum, I tested this already myself. It's the very first thing that pops up, Serum. It's the comic that they are funding currently. So if you want to go support there, I think on your Kickstarter, you have all your tiers there for when people are supporting you. It's all laid out really well. So go support David and his new comic Serum, and the art that you have there looks awesome. It looks great. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun for anyone who reads that. On TikTok, David is at Draco Star Studios. On Twitter /X, whatever you call it these days, it's NAS Studios TX, NAS Studios TX. And on Instagram, it's Draco_Star_Studios. And on Facebook, Draco Star Studios. Does that all sound right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so go give David a like, a follow, a subscribe. Go support him on his Kickstarter. David, I want to say the biggest thank you, dude, for coming on and being the very first interview, despite my awful internet, as always. God dang it.
At least you found it's you and not me.
Hey, yeah. You know what? You know what's funny? You want to hear a real comical little bit here? I went on yesterday to try to upgrade my package, and my internet was too slow to make the purchase. I was like,
that's Xfinity for you.
God dang it, Xfinity! You can't even let me be faster. So anyway,
yeah, bill for them before,
bro, ridiculous. Anyway, so yes, a huge thank you. And David, I'm going to be emailing you today an honorary VHS Doom membership card. You'll be number 3. So we'll send that over to you today.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, man. I truly appreciate you. I wish you the best of luck in everything that you do moving forward. And you are welcome anytime you have a new project to shoot us a line, let us know, and we'll get you back on, and you can come talk to the VHS Doom crew once again. So thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Yeah, man. All right. Well, we are going to wrap up. And y'all have a great rest of your day. And hey, everybody, I know it's not a regular episode, but don't forget, twerk till it fucking hurts. Let's go.
The reason they are we still recording?
No, we're not recording anymore, but you can, yeah. Oh, wait, actually, oh, shit, we are still recording. Oh, yeah, sure. Sure, throw it in, man, whatever.
Well, this was just something about, how to, when with algorithms and all that stuff with Kickstarter. So, the faster you can hit your goals, the more you can kind of, squeeze in between the algorithms there and get a better spotlight and stuff like that. So,
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Then let me, dude. I'm gonna get you over 1,000. I'll go donate once we get off the call, man. Yeah, bro. Cool. Okay, now we're done for real. So yeah, twerk till it hurts again, I guess. Woo! All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Peace.
Yeah.